How's it going, everybody? My name is Release Radar, and in today's video, we take a look at the 34GP83A-B LG UltraGear QHD 34-inch gaming monitor. Let's get into it. Before we get into the rest of the video, I do want to let you guys know that only a small percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. I would appreciate a sub. It helps with the algorithm, and let's get into the video. So this monitor is actually my second LG Ultrawide that I've ever owned, and the reason I picked this one up, I was not looking to upgrade, I was not looking to buy a new monitor at all, honestly, but my previous monitor just kind of stopped working properly. I'll put an image up on screen of what it looked like, but that was a different LG Ultrawide monitor. I'll also put the model number up on screen. And so I have a review on my channel of that device, but for some reason it just kind of crapped out after only not even 3 years of use. So I will say up front, I don't know if that was just a bad unit. I don't know if it was just a defective unit, but do be a little skeptical. I didn't want to downgrade my monitor. I wanted to buy something of similar quality to the one that I had before. So that's why I picked up this one. And it's still $750 before tax. So it's a pricey monitor. So I do want to say up front that I have one LG monitor that I've owned before this, and it kind of just stopped working properly. So that is just a disclaimer before we get into the rest of this video, because I want to be honest and upfront and transparent with you guys. So with that all out of the way, let's start talking about the specs of this monitor. So this is a QHD 34-inch curved gaming monitor. It is Nano IPS with a 1 millisecond response time gray to gray. It has VESA mounting capabilities. It is also DisplayHDR 400. It is compatible with both NVIDIA G-Sync and AMD FreeSync, and it is 144 Hz, but overclockable up to 160 Hz. The resolution is 3440 by 1440 or 1440p ultrawide, and this display claims to be 99% accurate with sRGB. Now let's just really quickly talk about I/O, which is located on the back of the device. You have 2 USB outs as well as a USB in for pass-through. You have 1 DisplayPort, 2 HDMIs, an aux jack, and then your connection for your barrel plug with an external power supply. When you open up the box, you get the monitor, the stand, the base of the stand, your external power brick, connection for the monitor, and 1 display cable. In terms of aesthetics, this monitor looks absolutely incredible. The bezels are super thin and it feels really sturdy. The stand is insanely sturdy, and while I have not assembled the stand for this monitor yet, it uses the exact same mechanism as the monitor that I had previously, and I can vouch for the fact that these stands are great. Now, they do have really long feet, so they do take up a lot of room on your desk, and for that reason, I've decided to VESA mount my display. VESA mounting this device is super easy to do, and I will put the mount that I use in the description down below if you're interested in checking it out. So next up, we're going to go ahead and take a look at ghosting using the UFO test. And if you don't know what ghosting is, the basic explanation is when you can see a trail of things behind you in the motion of the move you're making in a game or the motion on screen, you can basically just see a trail. That's the best way I can describe it. So we're going to be using the UFO test to see what ghosting looks like on this display. And while it does not properly translate on camera because my camera only records at 4K 30 FPS, I can guarantee with my eyeballs, and I'm fully transparent here, I would not lie to you guys, I don't see any ghosting at all. It's not a problem on this display like it has been on other monitors that I've looked at on this channel. So the next thing we're going to go ahead and do is take a look at backlight bleed. And if you don't know what that is basically when you have an all black image and you can see the light from illuminating on the back of the panel. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at backlight bleed on this display right now. And as you can tell by looking at this video, I took the monitor with a mostly black image pulled up. You can see reflections from my RGB lights and stuff. I can't turn those all off easily. But overall, the backlight bleed, it's not the worst I've ever seen, but it's also not fantastic. Kind of hovers in between the two. Could be worse, could be better. But in an actual gameplay scenario or a movie watching scenario, you probably won't notice it, because I personally don't notice it in daily use. So as I said earlier in this video, this monitor is 144 Hz, but you can actually overclock it up to 160, and it's pretty easy to do. You just have to navigate through the monitor's on-screen display or OSD to find the option, turn it on, and then go into Windows, set your refresh rate to 160, and you can load into a game like Overwatch 2, which is what I've been playing while talking about this, at 160 Hz. It's pretty easy to do, it's painless. Now personally, I'm going to keep it at 144, because I've already had an LG monitor fail on me and overclocking isn't stable sometimes. I've never overclocked a monitor before, so I'm going to stick to its default 144, because for me, with my eyes, 144 is more than enough. Next up, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the different display modes that this monitor has. I'm going to pull up a full screen image at 3440 by 1440, and I'm going to cycle between each one after 10 seconds. I'm going to have the labels down in the bottom corner, and I have not changed any of these, so this is similar to what they will look like if you get this monitor out of the box. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So one question that I get with almost every single ultra-wide monitor review that I have done is, are consoles compatible with them? And the answer is yes and no. And let me explain. So yes, if you plug any device into an ultra-wide monitor, it will work. But one of two things will happen if it's not a computer that's natively compatible with 21:9. So if you plug in a console, whether it be PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, or Xbox Series S or X, or Switch, one of two things will happen. One, you will get a stretched out image. So imagine 16:9, but pulled and stretched out to fit the 21:9 aspect ratio. So everything will look fat and clunky and much wider than it normally does. And that is wide, or not whiter, like WIDER. It will be wide. Or option two will happen, and that is you will have black bars on the sides of the screen, and you will be basically playing in 16:9 on the 21:9 panel. It'll just render your stuff in 16:9, and you'll have black bars on the sides of the screen. Those are the two things that'll happen if you try to plug in a console. It depends on which console you use. So with the PlayStation 5, for me, it stretches it out. But with the Xbox Series S that I have, it actually puts the black bars on the sides of the screen. So it just depends on what you use. So could you use a console with an ultra-wide monitor? Yeah, you could. Would I recommend it? Probably not, because the black bars on the sides of the screens would drive me crazy, and a stretched out image would also drive me crazy. But that's me personally. You're free to do whatever you want, but I just wanted to leave this disclaimer in here because I get asked this question a lot. And now I just want to give you guys my final thoughts about this monitor. At the time of recording this video, I've been using it for a couple of days now. I've had it for 3 days, and I can say with confidence that it's been great. I did not want to have to replace my old LG monitor. It was working fine literally up until like 4 days ago, and I turned it on and had those lines in the middle. I turned it off, turned it on, tried different cables, tried different computers. Even with nothing plugged into the device, it had those lines across it and standby. So that monitor, I don't know what happened to it, but it's bricked and it's practically unusable because everything looks extremely blurry and scuffed. So that was very unfortunate. But this monitor so far is great. I think the colors look amazing. The response time is great, and the ability to overclock it if you want to is awesome. Personally, I'm still on the hill that over 144 hertz, you start to get into the place where it's not really worth it, you know? There's only so much your eyes can see, and there's only so much data at once your brain can process. And so I think 144 hertz is just the golden spot. Could I go up to 240? I mean, if there's an ultra-wide that has that, probably. Would I like it? Probably. But the difference between 60 and 144 is substantially more noticeable than 144 to 240, because I have played on 240 hertz monitors and I have not noticed the jump as much as I did moving from 60 to 144. So if you're still playing at 60 and you want to move up to 144, definitely consider this monitor, especially if you're looking for ultra-wide. Now, there is a version of this monitor that is a little bit cheaper. It is at around $400. It's not as colorful and it doesn't have as many features, but it does go up to a stable 160 hertz. So that one will also be linked down below. I think they're both on the same product page on Amazon, which will be linked down below. So that one's cheaper, but it doesn't look as good, and it's a VA panel rather than an IPS, but you do get 160 rather than 144. So if you are a more competitive gamer, maybe that option just makes more sense for you. But for me, I'm kind of just not a huge fan of games like Valorant, which doesn't even have ultra-wide support, by the way. They limit you to 16:9, so Valorant devs, screw you. Not a fan of that. But if you like single-player games like Fallout 4 modded, Skyrim modded, Red Dead Redemption 2, if you're looking forward to Starfield, anything like that, if you like your single-player story games, an ultra-wide monitor, in my opinion, is one of the best ways to just be sucked in and immersed to single player gaming. And because this is 144 hertz, I can still kick ass on COD when I need to. So this monitor is great. The price is a little up there, but I think it's an excellent monitor. So if you have $800 to drop on a monitor and you're looking to upgrade from a 16:9 panel, maybe you're still playing at 1080p and you want to shake things up, I recommend this. Ultra wide for me is my favorite. I could go up to 4K. I could have gotten a decent 4K panel for this price, but it's just not something I'm interested in. Ultra-wide is my favorite way to play games on PC. And everybody has their own preferences, so if you've never seen an ultra-wide monitor before, maybe go to your local Best Buy or Micro Center or something and see if you can just experience one in person before you pick one up. But personally, I think they're amazing. I think this monitor is well worth it if you have the money. But if you want to save a few bucks, you could get the other version that's a couple $100 cheaper. So that's all I have to say about this monitor. I honestly really do recommend it. So far, it's been great. Hopefully this one lasts longer than 3 years. I'm going to knock on wood while saying that. But thanks so much for watching this review. I'll have more content coming soon. When Sons of the Forest and Atomic Heart drop, I'm going to have Steam Deck benchmark videos on both of those. So keep your eyes open for that stuff, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.